Hey, what's up, YouTube? Been a little bit since I did a trucking video. You're going to see that I'm going to intermix some videos that are not trucking from time to time in with the trucking videos, and that's because when you're running like I am right now, any of you who are coming into this line of work, you will find that when you start running 500, 600 miles a day, 6 to 7 days a week, maximizing your clock, that you're going to be pretty worn out and you're not really going to feel like doing a whole lot once you get shut down. You might unwind a little bit. That's one of the things I find is I have a little bit of an issue with, is that I'm usually wiped out by the time I stop, but it's almost like once I shut down that I get this sort of second burst of energy that wants me to, like I'm all adrenaline up from the drive or whatever. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it can make it a little bit hard to go to sleep. And other times I just hit the rack, and 5 minutes later I'm out, and I'm waking up doing it all over again. So it is what it is. So guess where I am? I'm not going to make you wait. I'm in Waco. I'm back at the Owens Brockway, where we left off for the birthday blues video. I think this is actually the second time I've been back here since that video. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't mind coming here at all. A lot of guys don't like coming here because you end up, waiting. And, I got here, I don't know, an hour ago. As soon as I got to the guard check, the guy told me, I'm just having all the Millis drivers pull to the pad and wait because, I don't know when we're going to get you loaded. So, it's going to be one of those cases where I'm probably not going to get loaded, till late tonight. Maybe not till tomorrow morning. Who knows with this place? They run behind here all the time. It's funny if you are get a load out of here, just dispatched to you, and you don't have enough time to get there before the pickup time is scheduled for. It's not your fault. It's just that sometimes that happens. They give you a load and you're too far away to get there by the pickup time, so you're going to be late. They act like the world has come undone if you're late. Like, oh, well, you guys agreed to these times, but the reality is, when you come here, they're almost never on time here. They're almost always running behind. I don't mean like a half an hour, an hour. They're usually 5 hours plus behind, doing stuff here. And it makes no sense how they do things here. They have all these docks on the backside of the building. They almost don't use them. I think I've been here once. The last time I was here, actually, I loaded off the back dock. I drove around the building this time to get on the pad and park. And guess what? I see all these Millis trailers all in every single dock, but there's no tractors hooked to any of them. I don't even see our spotter out here. I don't even know where he's at. He's probably here somewhere running around, or he's sitting up by the other live loading dock the one dock that they actually use, which is one of the hardest ones to get into. I don't know why they use that dock all the time. It's part of the reason why they run behind here, I think, is because it takes so long to get trucks in there, and it's a pain in the ass. I don't know why they do it. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure someone somewhere thinks they have a really good reason why they do the things that they do here, the way they do. But, it reminds me of the military. It reminds me of that old saying that there's a right way, a wrong way, and then the army way, which is, secret hint, also the wrong way most of the time. But anyway, it is what it is. So I wanted to continue with a little bit of the truck tour. I want to touch on some other parts that I didn't get covered in the first truck tour video. I'm also trying to finish answering most, if not all, of the questions that came up. A couple things I don't have an answer for, actually, would be, well, at least one. I don't know what the wattage of the inverter is in the truck. I've actually looked at it a couple times to try to see, if there's any, info printed on it where you can see it readily, and there's not. So I don't know. I'm going to guess it's probably, a 2,000 to 3,000 watt inverter would be my guess. I know it kills I know using much stuff, having much things turned on with the second refrigerator that I have, and like having like the DirecTV and the dish fired up, or the Xbox on, and my laptop running and charging, and a few lights on and stuff. About 2.5 hours this thing is, the low voltage disconnect is coming on. So I don't know, maybe my truck is just about due for a B service when I'm done with this run, which is going to West Dallas, Wisconsin, which is like 1,100 miles. I'll be right about the mileage for a B service. So I might be shutting down up there and getting a B service done at Richfield when I get up there. We'll see. how that goes. I don't know. I'm really in the mood to keep running right now. I can't remember when I came out on my birthday, which was the 7th of January. And since then, I only stopped home for about a day and a half. I had a load coming out of Wisconsin of Ashley Furniture that I took down to Mesquite, Texas. And I stopped in Kansas City just long enough to go see my doctor, get some lab work done, and get my prescriptions refilled. And then I was out again. So it wasn't real home time. It was, one night really there, and then in half a day, and then I was gone. And I don't know when I'm going back, to be honest with you, because I'm just in the groove right now. And it's one thing you find is that you get in this rhythm when you're doing this job, and if you go home and you take a few days at home, and then you come, it takes like a day or two to get back into your rhythm, and and get that flow going again. And I just prefer being out right now making bank, and logging the miles. Getting over 3,000 miles a week is really what I'm trying to do here, so I can maximize my drive time. And I've been doing a really good job of that. There'll be a little montage of pictures here again with some more details about the truck. I also got an interesting project, a repair project on the truck that I undertook, to quality of life improvement thing that I did, and it worked out, and I'm really happy, and I'm going to show you what that was all about in this video. I'm going to talk about some of the equipment that you really want to have in the truck. If for example, one of the biggest issues that you'll find if you're into technology and you want the internet, and you wanted to stream movies or entertainment programs, if you're a gamer, if you want to do any of that stuff, then one of your biggest challenges is going to be sorting out internet and getting consistent, good internet. Now you have a couple of different options. You could pay through the nose to truck stops, but that also means you have to get close enough to their Wi-Fi in order to get a good enough signal to actually have it be usable. That means you usually have to be right up by the building, and those are the choice spots that are usually taken up right away. So unless you get there really, really early, good luck. And even then, sometimes you're not going to get it. So plus it's expensive. It's like for a whole day, if you're going to be there like overnight, it's like $6, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up if you're doing that every day. And if you're only paying by the hour too, it's going to add up. So I opted to get a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then the challenge was to find an actual unlimited plan. That was the real challenge. There were some ways that you used to be able to do this that no longer work anymore, depending on the carrier that you're dealing with. I'm dealing with AT&T, so there used to be a way to do it, and I got all the things to do it, and then apparently they figured out what people were doing, and they kind of shut it down. So I had to go kind of a separate route. Fortunately, the equipment that I bought ended up working, because the person I bought my hotspot from actually was offering an unlimited service through them. It's not as inexpensive as I was hoping for. If I could have done it the old way, it would have been $30 a month. Now I'm paying $70, which sounds like a lot, but I pay about that for a 1 gig fiber line, Google fiber line in my house. So I don't care as long as it works, and it's been pretty good. Sometimes you have some issues. There've been a little AT&T network issues the last couple of days that I've been experiencing, but other than that, it's been pretty good. Well, I'm gonna keep moving here because I'm already almost 9 minutes into this introduction part, and I wanted to try to keep the videos a little shorter so that I don't burn people out with a lot of guys only pay attention, it seems like, for about 4 or 5 minutes, and maybe 6, and that's about it. And that's about the attention span of most people. For those of you who are willing to stick around and are interested because you really want to know about this stuff, and you're really looking for the info, here it comes. Enjoy, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, so here's the situation. The factory installed amp here that Packard puts in these Kenworths is, well, let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired. It's a Magnedyne amplifier module here. Pretty low power, my guess. I couldn't find actual specs on it, but apparently a newer version that looks very similar to this is like about 80 watts. So, you know, definitely not high quality. So for those drivers that get in these trucks and listen to the sound system in it and go, wow, this thing has a really awesome sound system, well, I have to question what your background with audio is, and you know, because this is not, I mean, Panasonic is not exactly a world-renowned name in for audiophiles. But anyway, I'm sure it's, you know, over standard truck audio. It's probably an improvement. But in my truck, the subwoofer has never worked. Okay, now there's a fuse panel, and this is inside under the bunk, by the way. You can access this fuse panel under the bunk here, and you can see it over here on the right, behind all the jugs of windshield washer and oil and coolant and stuff. About the 5th fuse down in slot F6 is a 15 amp fuse. That one was blown. I replaced it and immediately blew again. So I decided to check the subwoofer amp, which is actually located inside the subwoofer enclosure in this box here, which is actually, I have it turned around from the way that it is actually mounted down onto the floor, but it's in the position where it would be mounted, pretty close to it. And another picture that I have previously, you'll see how it follows this angle right here of the this angle right here of the bunk. This is the front edge of the bunk underneath the bunk, by the way, where your bunk heater and stuff is over there on the left. But anyway, this has a fuse on it as well, the 15 amp fuse. Now that was not blown. So what I did was I had to troubleshoot this a little bit further, make sure I didn't have a wiring problem downstream from here. I pulled the fuse on the amp and then reinserted a 15 amp fuse in the fuse block, and it did not blow. So that told me that most likely the problem is at least between the fuse block and the amplifier, and most probably the amplifier itself that's causing it. The thing is, the fuses are different. So although they're rated the same at 15 amp, this is the fuse that's, you know, standard automotive fuse, one of the larger size type, and this is one that was on the actual amplifier, and it's not blown. The ones that are used in the fuse panel are actually of this type, and I think those are, while they're supposed to be 15 amp, they're probably under that, and that's probably what's happening, is it's blowing that fuse before it's blowing the one on the amp itself. So in order to solve the problem and get myself some thump back in my audio system, I went to Walmart, which is my least favorite place to shop, but you know, it is what it is. I found this amp here for 60 bucks. Unfortunately, it's a dual channel. You know, you don't really have a lot of mono amp choices there, and it really wouldn't matter because the subwoofer is not, you know, going to be very powerful anyway, so we don't want to overpower it and blow it. So I've got some stuff here. We're going to try to put this in and get the subwoofer working again. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. You can see I have a bunch of connectors and junk. I'll try to get this in, and then once I get it installed, maybe I'll shoot a video there if it's you know, works out, and we'll kind of show what I did and how I went about fixing the problem. All right, we'll talk to you in a bit. All right, so we have some success here. As you can see, the subwoofer is not working. It's actually pretty simple to hook this up. Don't even need the trigger wire that comes off the harness. You got to use the high connections versus the low-level RCA connections, because there's no RCA feedback here from the head unit. But the high-level inputs coming here are the left and right channel on this Kenwood factory stereo. The green is left and the purple is the right channel. So I've got those hooked up. I've got my power and ground, and we are bridged. This is a 2-channel amplifier, so by bridging across the 2 channels and making it into a mono amplifier, we can get the max power out of the amplifier, which, you know, is what it is. But success, we're happy. 60 bucks, and we now have a working subwoofer once again, and we should have better audio in the truck. This is from a load I picked up across from BRF. This is a nuclear power plant in Pennsylvania. Here's a Richfield terminal. This is where the school and range is out here. So if you come up here to test with Eric, this is the the lot immediately before, and then back here's the range back here. This is what you do your testing at if you test with Eric. And now if you test with Jamie, you'll go to probably like Beloit, I think is where he has his test range. That's where I did mine testing, because I already was familiar with Jamie, so I prefer to work with him. That's Essity down there, and just like that, we're out of time. Well, as far as fuel mileage is concerned, of course it's going to definitely be affected by the weight of the load, the terrain that you're traveling on, how windy it is, among other factors that are going to control what mileage you get. But let me just tell you that for certain, there is a major difference between trailers without side skirts and tails versus the ones that have them. The mileage is not only as much better; it's usually mid 7s to low 8, and plain boxes are more like 5 to 6, on average. Not only that, but I think the trailers are a lot more attractive with the skirts and tails. I don't know. What do you think?